Yes, let's call the Timnath Development Authority meeting to order. Chairperson Mark Sukup. Co-chair Rick Collins.
Here.
Commissioner Aaron Pearson.
Here.
Commissioner Lisa Lake. Here. Commissioner Brett Hansen.
Here.
Any amendments to the agenda, Aaron? Do we have any public comments? TDA, yeah. Okay. Consent agenda, any comments on the consent agenda? Could I have a motion?
I'd provide a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Could I have a second?
So I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Any person want reports for TDA? Okay. Lisa.
Good evening. As you know, we've been working for about a year with our municipal financial advisor to renegotiate the terms of our debt. And we spoke with Compass, and finally PNC has come to the table with what we think are favorable terms to refinance the two TDA notes. We'll refinance at a 3.9% for both of those notes. They've waived all the prepayment penalties and yield maintenance, so there won't be any of those penalties paid. It'll net the town approximately 1.2 million over the life of the term, and they will be non-callable. That was one of the terms to get that lower interest rate. So we can't prepay these prior to 2029 when they are mature. I have Melissa Buck with UMB on Zoom, and also bond counsel Dee Weiser with Butler Snow is on if you have any questions.
Okay. Questions? Questions? I mean, this was a home run. If ever there was a home run, this is a home run. And Melissa, I don't know if you can hear me or not, but you did an awesome job, and we have our utmost gratitude for the work that you put in on this and stuff. So thank you. Just for everybody's edification, the gross savings of interest from renegotiating these notes is 1.9 plus a little. So it's a big deal. And to say I'm excited, and I think most of the council would be excited, would be a major understatement. And Lisa, you did a great job. I know this cost you a bunch of work, but we did well. So good job on that. Thank you.
I will just also mention that Finance Committee did review this. So we took this to Finance Committee on March 18th and they approved council, or they recommended council approve this.
And I'd like to thank the Finance Committee. They just kept at it like dogs on a bone, and we finally got it set. So that was a good thing too.
Mayor, let me put in a word for PNC Bank too. The
Sure,
banks did
absolutely.
not have to do this. When we looked into this, Compass Bank loans had prepayment penalties so severe that we couldn't start to do this until 2025 at the earliest, and would never have recouped this kind of savings on the things. PNC took over Compass, and they agreed to work with our staff and with the mayor and the council. And so we should put out a shout out to them because they didn't have to do this. And this is a huge, huge savings.
Absolutely. And I should qualify my comment. So the 1.9 interest savings is also the town savings on the lease, or the
The
COP and the bond.
Yep.
Bonds. Okay. Anything else, Lisa?
No, that's all I have.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
Yeah, give you a motion. This is on resolution number TDA 01, series 2022, a resolution authorizing the development authority to modify the third amended and restated loan agreement between the authority and PNC, approving the form of the first modification to the third amended and restated loan agreement, and authorizing the execution, delivery, and performance of such modifications and related documents. I'll put that in the form of a motion to approve it.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Resolution number 15, series 2022, a resolution authorizing the execution and delivery by the town of an amendment to the lease purchase agreement between the town and UNB, consenting, whoops, I did that wrong. Resolution number TDA number 1, series 2022, a resolution authorizing the Timnath Development Authority to modify the third amendment and restated loan agreement between the authority and PNC, NA, approving the form of the first modification to the third amendment and restated loan agreement, and authorizing the execution and delivery of the performance of such modification and related documents. It passed unanimously. Okay.
I now provide a motion to adjourn the TDA meeting.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned. Okay. Melissa, would you call to order the town council meeting?
Yes, sir. Mayor Mark Sukup,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Rick Collins,
Here.
Councilmember Aaron Pearson,
Here.
Councilmember Lisa Lake. Here. Councilmember Brett Hansen.
Here.
Aaron, any amendments to the agenda? Melissa, do we have public comments?
Yes, we do. First up, Robert Rogers.
Okay.
Mayor and council, thank you for allowing me to be here and speak with you for a minute tonight.
As I think pretty much everyone in the room is aware, it's the last council meeting for the Mayor Pro Tem and for Councilmember Pearson. And I just wanted to come and say first, Mayor Pro Tem, congratulations. You've accomplished a whole lot in your 4 years on the council. And I know you had a big agenda coming in and you've accomplished a whole lot of it. And I think you and the council should be proud of that record. I didn't get to work with you quite as long as I did with Councilmember Pearson. So Aaron, I think you also have a whole lot to be proud of in your time on the council. And you've both done a whole lot, but Aaron, you in particular have taught me a lot about leadership and a lot about friendship. And it's been my honor to work with both of you, and just wanted to wish you both well and tell you thank you so much for your service. Thank you.
Great. Robert, very kind of you.
Thank you, Robert. And I just add, he was also Mayor Pro Tem during his tenure too. So I think that title sticks with him as well.
All right. Do we have anybody else?
Yes, Laura Olive.
Council, thanks for allowing me to speak. I just wanted to say that I would like to see Main Street, County Road 5 remain open. And-
Laura, could you point that speaker to your mouth more? I think it's on. It's just you're very soft spoken.
Sure.
And if you could get your mouth like this.
Okay, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for allowing me to speak. My name's Laura Olive. I own a number of properties in the old town of Timnath, and I'd like to see the council see if they could keep County Road 5 open so that it remains, it doesn't cul-de-sac or anything like that, that it just remains open. I think it's in the spirit of the comp plan to generate some business activity down there, and certainly having some traffic go through there is vital to that cause. Also, I'd like to see the city council put in a sidewalk from where it ends on the west side of County Road 5 or Main Street, so that it connects down to Harmony for more connectivity. There's no sidewalk there. It just ends in gravel. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us. Melissa? That's it? Okay. Consent agenda. Any comments? Could I have a motion?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Could I have a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The consent agenda carries unanimously. Reports, mayor and council reports. Any council members have? Yes.
I have a brief comment. So last week, some of you may have noticed, we did have a little bit of wind. And one of the things I thought was particularly noteworthy was after the windstorm had passed, I saw half a dozen groups organized online, particularly in Timnath Ranch, to go look for areas to pick up trash around the parks, around the ponds, around the green spaces. And it was really indicative of how many people in this community really care and do it through actions and not just words. And just to remind us all that that's the kind of community that we're here to serve.
Awesome. I think the whole council echoes your comments. So thanks, Brad. Lisa.
I just want to echo what Robert said earlier to Aaron and Rick, and thank you both for your time on council. And Rick, you and I, of course, have gotten to know each other a little better as we sit next to each other here. And it's sometimes a thankless job, and it's been a pleasure to serve on the council with both of you. And I just want to thank you.
Great, thanks. Anybody else? Let's see. I'm going to congratulate Luke, who's here. Go ahead and stand up, Luke. But Luke's our new council member. He'll start. Thanks for running, Luke, and also Robert Axmeyer. He wanted to be here, but he told me he had a prior engagement that he set up 6 months ago and couldn't get out of. So we're excited to have both of you on the council.
Clarification on that. He's actually teaching a district attorney class tonight.
Okay.
Which is pretty important. And I think that shows you the quality of people that are coming into this council.
Yeah. All right, resolution number 14, series 2022, a resolution approving Timnath Ranch fifth filing site plan. Kevin. Oh, okay.
All right, thank you, Mayor. See if it works from over here. I'm a little. Perfect. So thank you, Mayor. As you mentioned, this is the Timnath Ranch fifth filing site plan. Owner is Timnath Ranch LLC, represented tonight by Warren Turner. Applicant is TB Group, represented tonight by Courtney Stazowitz, who is actually on Zoom with us. So this site plan is located south of Innovate Place, just on the east side of Club Drive, south of Harmony, in the Timnath Ranch fifth filing. This property is zoned CMU, commercial mixed use. This site plan proposal is for 7 buildings ranging in size from just under 5,000 square feet to 11,600 square feet, and then just over 12,000 square feet on 5.28 acres in the Timnath Ranch fifth filing. 4 of these buildings will be 1 story tall, with the remaining 3 being 2 stories in height. The 1 story buildings are on the south side, adjacent to the Timnath Ranch 8th filing residential, and then the 2 stories on the north side, butting what would be future commercial. The site provides just over 2 acres of usable landscape and open space, which is roughly 38% of the site, which well exceeds the 25% required minimum. And then they have 5% usable landscaping per the Harmony Corridor standards. And that usable open space is a plaza that is on the west side of the site, which contains a seating wall, 2 picnic tables, and then pergolas. The required parking for this site is 213 spaces based on the 5 spaces per 1,000 square feet for medical at 23,000, just over 23,000 square feet of medical, for a total of 118, and then 1 space per 400 square feet of office at just over 38,000 square feet for a total of 95 spaces. The applicant is providing 212 parking spaces. That includes 9 handicap spaces and then 2 electrical vehicle charging spaces as per code. This site was reviewed against the 5.10 of the land use code for Harmony Corridor standards. This site has been reviewed and approved by the DRC Design Review Committee as required by section 510.22 of the land use code. This site meets architectural, landscaping, and site requirements from those standards, with 1 waiver being requested that the DRC supports. The waiver that is being requested tonight is to section 510.76 for building transparency, which requires buildings having 50% transparency on the primary front facade. With that, with having that transparency requirement and these buildings being occupied by general office and medical, it kind of prohibits future users with the layout of the buildings and how to separate them out for demising walls. The DRC reviewed that and actually was comfortable with that waiver being requested, just because also the architecture meets generally the meets residential in nature as well to the south. So it kind of also provides a little bit more compatibility to residential. So with that, am I going to turn it over to Courtney? That's up to you.
Hi, Mr. Mayor, Warren Turner, 7775 Weld County Road 74. Really happy to bring this project forward tonight. We feel it's a great addition to Timnath and it fits the neighborhood well.
What I like, a concise comment.
Any
Courtney,
questions or comments?
Courtney, I would say it's up to you if you've got your presentation ready.
It's ready. I don't mind showing you guys. It's mainly just pretty pictures. But if you guys wanted to see it, I can run through it and try really hard not to be redundant.
Go for it. Ready for you to
Okay.
screen share.
All right, sure thing. All right, let me know when you can see my screen. All right, is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So like Kevin said, my name is Courtney Stasowitz. I'm the representative for TB Group. On behalf of myself and the entire project team, we really appreciate you guys taking the time to hear our project and listen to us talk about something that we think is going to be a really good addition to all of Timnath. So Kevin really did do a great job in his presentation, so I really will try not to bore you guys with redundant comments, but I wanted to show you our site one more time. Here's sort of an overall view of where it lands in Timnath. It is to the south of Harmony, to the east of Club Drive, and just south of Innovate Place. Here's a quick image of what it looks like with the entirety of Timnath Ranch. So we've been working on Timnath Ranch 5th with the town for since about 2019. And so as you know, all of Timnath Ranch is master planned, and it has been for decades now. So this was an exciting portion to continue to move forward with. Here's another pretty picture to show you guys. As Kevin said, we have 7 proposed buildings. The uses will be office and medical. And I did want to show you the architecture to give you a feel of what we have proposed. So for our single-story buildings, this is what our architecture would look like. We tried to keep with the aesthetic feel of the rest of Timnath. So that nice farmhouse style would be reflected in this area as well. And then the same thing for our 2-story buildings. And the last one is our L-shaped single building. So really, I think it would fit in very nicely with the rest of Timnath Ranch and all of Timnath. This is a quick circulation map that I designed. I think one of the best parts about this project is the fact that it's so pedestrian friendly. The fact that this property is just to the north of a residential community really gave us an advantage and a good opportunity to create something that is walkable and connectable to the rest of Timnath Ranch. So as you can see on the southeast portion of our site, we've got a direct connection into Timnath Ranch 8th filing. So our whole thought was, as we continue to develop all of these commercial sites to the north in Timnath Ranch, we really want people in the south of Timnath Ranch to be able to ride bikes, walk, whatever it may be, into whatever building they may be. And that's why we also think it'll be so beneficial for these to be office and medical uses. I mean, not only will these buildings serve the community off of Harmony Road, but especially off of Club Drive and the interior of Timnath Ranch. And the final thing I wanted to show you guys was some more of the landscaping. So as Kevin mentioned, we are way exceeding the open space requirements, which I am always happy about being a landscape designer. And we created a nice gathering plaza on the west side of the site. We thought it would be a good area for people to come out and take lunch breaks or whatever it may be when they're using or visiting these buildings. So hopefully that was quick enough for you all, but informative. As you know, Warren is here representing us, and I believe we have a few more people from our team online as well. So if you have any questions, please feel free.
Warren, would you like to say anything else?
I think Courtney summed it all up very well, sir.
Great, thank you.
Do you have any questions?
Anybody here have any questions? Yes, we do. Brett does.
My question's for staff. So in the staff report, we see that the required parking is 213 spaces, and the applicant's giving 212. And then I asked Kevin about this earlier, and he pointed me out how in our code, it states for a multi-tenant building that at staff's discretion, they can reduce that requirement up to 20%. With adequate information to justify the reduction in the form of a parking memo and or other exhibits required by staff. And my question for staff was hoping for a little more clarification on what kind of criteria you would use to justify, because 20% can be pretty significant depending on the size of the parking lot. So if you could elaborate on that a little bit.
Yep. So since this was actually just a reduction of one required parking space, and the proposed users being office and medical, those two have at most times drastically different user times, and users that do show up, for say if you got an urgent care, most of those people might be showing up after work, after hours. So with a reduction of just one parking space, and with this being a entire site that was going to be multiple users, we felt the one reduction in parking space was going to be adequate, even though it's not part of their parking count. Innovate Place would allow for on-street parking if that did come to it, but that's not part of the 212. That would just be overflow if needed. But yeah, since it was a reduction of just one parking space from the requirement, staff felt that that was still adequate, and that had such a small number from that.
And yeah, I have no objection with this specific proposal. I'm just trying to get a feel for generally what kind of criteria you're using. So it sounds like you're really looking at the types of businesses and trying to determine when peak hours are. Yep. Is that the primary criteria? Are there other criteria, like you mentioned, on-street parking?
Yeah, it depends on a case-by-case basis of what the users typically are. We'll look at the ITE for trip, generation for each one of these, types of users. If it really comes down to it, to determine, who has peak hours parking for, different users, if there's going to be multiples that overlap. If this was all office, I think staff would still be comfortable with a one reduction at their request for a waiver, just because it is one. But yeah, since we were talking, office, and depending on, the types of medical that would be in there, all 212 wouldn't necessarily be needed at one time.
Okay, thank you.
Anything further?
Yeah.
Yes.
I just had a question for you. What is your timetable on construction on this? Are they going to be built simultaneously, all 7 buildings, or phased in, or how do you plan on doing this?
Mr. Collins most likely will phase it. Right now, I don't want to say the project is tabled, but with lumber being so high and rents being low, it's shelved for the next 3 or 4 months. We'd most likely bring on 1 or 2 buildings. We'd need to build most of the entire pad. So we can't crack open all the buildings at once. There isn't demand for that. And we probably couldn't bring online one at a time. We'd probably need to bring on 20,000 square feet to make it financially feasible, sir.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. No more questions for Warren? Warren, thank you. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Pardon? So public comment, Melissa? Okay. Do you have to call for it, though? Okay. All right. So could I have a motion?
I move to recommend approval of the Timnath Ranch 5th filing site plan with the following conditions. Allow staff to work with the owner applicant to address minor modifications and unresolved comments prior to final.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Resolution number 14, Series 2022, resolution approving the Timnath Ranch 5th filing site plan. Next, we've got resolution number 15, Series 2022, a resolution authorizing the execution and delivery by the town of an amendment to the lease purchase agreement between the town and UMB Bank NA, consenting to the amendment of documents in connection therewith, and authorizing the town manager and the finance director to take additional action in connection therewith. Lisa.
Yes, this is just the agreement related to the refinance of the COPs. It's an amended lease purchase agreement with UMB Bank that reflects the change in interest rate from 4.89% to 3.9%. This particular refinance will net the town $425,000 about over the remainder term. And again, same as the others, this one is not callable, so we couldn't prepay anything prior to the maturity date.
Great. Comments? We probably already talked about it somewhat. So could I have a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve the resolution titled, "A Resolution Authorizing the Execution and Delivery by the Town of an Amendment to the Lease Purchase Agreement between the Town and UMB Bank N.A., consenting to the amendment of documents in connection therewith, and authorizing the Town Manager and Finance Director to take additional action in connection therewith."
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Resolution number 15, series 2022, a resolution authorizing the execution and delivery by the town of an amendment to the lease purchase agreement between the town and UMB Bank N.A., consenting to the amendment of documents in connection therewith, and authorizing the town manager and the finance director to take additional action in connection therewith. Okay. Before I end, Rick and Aaron, it's been a pleasure, total pleasure. And I'd like to also thank Kathy and Stacy. I know you guys had to put up with a lot of stuff along the way too. And so thanks for being so supportive of your husbands. So thank you. So with that, do I have a motion to
Do you have a
adjourn?
motion to adjourn?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. We are